Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another Manchester United podcast. Man United doing their best impression of Arsenal and bottling the game against Tottenham Hotspur. 2-0 lead. And yeah, unbelievable scenes in the second half. We will be dissecting all of that, of course. Slap a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Yes, I've got trim. Yes, it doesn't look great, but we're going to get on with it. We're going to discuss Manchester United yesterday, and we're going to obviously dissect the individual performances as well as the collective. As always, if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on my socials. They are on the screen. Osman Talks United on TikTok, Twitter, mainly Twitter to be fair. If you want to stay up to date with everything that I am talking about, make sure you follow me on Twitter because that's basically where I live on. But anyways, that aside, let's get into the game. Manchester United 2-0 to the good. And I can't believe I'm sat there at half-time enjoying the game. I'm enjoying Manchester United playing football. I'm sat there confident, comfortable. But of course, that is not what we have seen throughout the entirety of this decade. We do not do comfortable, and somehow we always find a way to absolutely screw ourselves. I mean, it was Jekyll and Hyde, first half to second half, complete night and day, whatever paraphrase you want to use to gloss over it. It was absolutely polar opposite halves. The first half, we showed intensity, we showed fight, we showed character, we showed the ability to control a game of football. In the second half, it was a complete opposite. We showed absolutely no fight, no composure on the ball, and no bottle whatsoever. Like I said, our best Arsenal impression was that second half, and we executed Arsenal to perfection. It's just inexcusable, to be quite frank with you. This was a Tottenham team on the flipping floor. They were downbeat, they were dead and buried. We resurrected them. We gave them a lifeline from a silly set piece. Fair play to Porro. One outstanding finish by him. But make no mistake about it, this was Man United's doing. The fact that we came out in the second half and we decided to essentially relinquish the power and relinquish the control of the game and give them the impetus to attack us, which made no sense. In the first half, granted, they had opportunities. I'm not denying that even Ten Hag came out and said it wasn't a perfect half, and I don't dispute that for any second. And I do feel like they had chances in the first half, and on another day, they would have taken those chances, and they probably should have been in the game. But nevertheless, we had control of the game for most parts. Most of their chances were coming from ball over the top or a counter-attack. It wasn't anything sustained. It wasn't Spurs taking the game to Manchester United like it was in the second half. And the second half basically paints the picture of the entirety of the season. Manchester United, time and time again, have bottled it, showing they've got lack of mentality, showing that they lack character when the going gets tough, when the crowd gets up, the Manchester United players crumble time and time again. This is another example of that, and I'm sorry, it's absolutely inexcusable. It's just not acceptable at any club, let alone Manchester United, for players to be crumbling at that level again consistently. We did the same thing against Sevilla. I'm sorry, second half against Sevilla, completely complacent, going through the motions. This is the Premier League. This is higher level football. Okay, granted that was a Europa League, but in the Premier League, you can't go through the motions. You got to kill the opposition. You got to show ruthlessness. You got to be clinical in front of goal, and you got to take your chances. 2-0 is a well-known fact. That is the most dangerous scoreline in football. You don't know which way the pendulum is going to swing. Or we knew the next goal would decide the momentum of the game. Obviously, we knew that the occasion would get to the players. We knew that the fans would get behind the team if they were to score the second goal or the third goal in the game, which would, of course, in this case, make it 2-1 to Manchester United. We knew that would change the momentum of the game, and that is exactly what happened. I'm sorry to say it, but there's a lot of questions that need to be asked of these players and Eric Ten Hag for the substitutions. There are a lot of positives to take from that first half. I'm not going to sit and be negative throughout, but I've got to just get it off my chest because I've got to be honest. I'm absolutely pissed. As you can tell, I'm not happy. I've been pissed off all morning, to be honest. And a lot of people that have spoken to me this morning probably can tell. And I do apologize to them. But for me, I can't excuse this. Time and time again, we're making the same mistakes. The players, the manager, whoever it may be, it's not acceptable, man. Learn from your flipping mistakes. We had no control in that second half. We gave them an opportunity to get back in the game for no reason. We continued in the manner in which we played the first half, i.e., just keep the ball, just pass the ball around. Sometimes in these scenarios, you got to just have a professional performance. We didn't need to necessarily blow them away. For me personally, I would have preferred if we continued with the same tempo and went for the kill at 2-0. They're there to be killed. It's like being in a boxing ring. You got the play. You got your opponent wobbled. You know, you've hit him with a good shot, but you don't kill him off. I mean, what are you doing? This is your opportunity to kill him off and make sure he's on the canvas, dead out, counted out. But we didn't do that. We allowed him to get back up for some reason, and then when he got back home, we didn't apply the pressure once again. And that's the best way I can explain it. They were there to be got at, and we allowed them to basically, steady themselves, get their breath, get back to their flipping corner, and go again the next round. And that, for me, is absolutely pathetic from our part. Again, you can blame the manager, you can blame the players, but it's a constant theme. So where do we sit with this? For me, the players do need to take a lot of accountability. I mean, just pass the ball around for like fucking 5. Sorry, I don't want to swear. I do apologize. But pass the ball around for 5 or 10 minutes in the second half just to kill the flipping any momentum. In the second half, they're going to come out in the first 5-10 minutes and they're going to be like, no, what, we need to try and get back in the game. Obviously, the fans, let's get the fans up against, behind us again. First 10 minutes, just weather the storm, do what you're going to do. But after that, just continue to play your old football, because when we were playing our football, we were playing them off the park, not because we were brilliant, but they were that poor. They were giving us absolute acres of space, and it was extremely easy for us to pass around them. But what do? We just parked the bus. Why did we park the bus and allow them to have the ball? Oh, let's allow them to have the ball. No, man, you don't do that in the Premier League. You don't invite pressure. You don't allow teams to get a foothold in the game. And I'm sorry, with the players that we've got on, especially in the back line, we don't have an aerial presence. To be honest, they just started pumping balls into the box. Back to basic, pump the ball into the box, and we had no answer for it. We've got Luke Shaw there, he's not a centre-back, and we've got Lindelof, who's not particularly great in the air. Yes, he's good, but he's nothing special, and they were causing us all kind of problems. They were just whipping the ball in. Yeah, granted, some players wouldn't get onto the end of it, but it was just causing all kinds of chaos. We know De Gea's not going to come off his line and help the defenders. Dyer missed an absolute sitter of a chance. Fred, by the way, we'll get onto him shortly, but Dyer missed a sitter. That was your warning shot. But even before the Dyer sitter, we had so many warnings in the first half that they're going to keep, getting in behind, but we did not address them. And that, for me, is absolutely inexcusable. You're 2-0 up. We win this game, we've essentially basically confirmed our spot in the Champions League. I know, granted, mathematically it wasn't sealed. For me personally, I would have wanted to win both the games hand for me to be like, okay, it's done and dusted. And look, granted, we're still 7 points ahead of Liverpool. And, we should really still get top 4. But that aside, it's not good enough. I mean, see the game out with proper fashion, not, let's try hold on for dear life. That was not the manner in which we should have approached that second half. It was absolutely pathetic from whoever was in charge. For me, Ten Hag needs to take a lot of responsibility, not just for the performance in the second half, but for the substitution. I'm sorry. You just made subs for the sake of making subs. We were in the ascendancy in the first half, obviously, but in the second half, we went out of the game. I don't understand why he made those subs. I mean, look, the Martial sub for Sancho was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't understand that. Martial, for all the quality he has in the world, we know one thing: he doesn't work hard off the ball. And that was a game that we needed workhorses because, it was going to get stretched. It was an end-to-end football at periods. And we need a player to continue to press them and put pressure on the opposition. And Sancho was doing that. To be fair to Sancho, he had a great game for me compared to the previous games anyways, for his standards so far in United shirt. And he got took off. Why? I don't understand. He was actually doing all right for once. I mean, I don't know why he got took off. And then Eriksen for Fred. Lord have mercy on that substitution. That was absolutely diabolical. I mean, I, for one, have been calling for Fred on numerous occasions to be subbed on for Eriksen within that similar period of time, in 60, 65-minute mark, whatever it may be. But that game was crying out for a bit. So we needed somebody who was capable on the ball, essentially. I mean, like I said, we relinquished all control of the game when we took Eriksen off of Fred. I mean, Fred can't pass. He can't control a game of football. We basically accepted the fact that we're going to park the bus when we brought Fred on. For me, if we brought Sabitzer on, okay, at least we got something on the ball. Yeah, granted, Sabitzer's not known for controlling games. Yeah, granted, Sabitzer's not the most potent on the ball, but he's not Fred on the ball, is he? Fred was absolutely diabolical, and I don't want to scapegoat him. It wasn't just him. There were so many players in the second half who were shocking. Martial was another one. I mean, That Weghorst substitution, what the hell was that sub? He subbed on Weghorst for what? To put him in number 10 and put Bruno on the right. If Sabitzer can't get on over Fred and Weghorst, there's no point signing him. You're not subbing Sabitzer on over Weghorst in number 10. Are you taking the piss, man? What is that about? There's no excuse for that. You shifting Bruno on the right wing. He's not even good on the right wing, and you're shifting on the right wing. Okay, granted, I can accept that if you're bringing somebody on that's going to offer something to the flipping team. He brought on Weghorst. He's not good on the ball. We're not going to control the game with Weghorst and Fred next to Casemiro. Not one of them is good on the ball. Casemiro's okay. He's hot and cold. He didn't have a great second half. Yes, granted, I thought the first half he was good, but people won't admit that, which is fine. But Casemiro aside, Fred is shocking on the ball, and Weghorst isn't good on the ball as well. So what the hell have we got there? You got two players on the pitch in middle of the park that aren't known for controlling the game. Then you got Martial and Rashford who don't really run off the ball. They don't offer anything off the ball in terms of work rate. And then you got Bruno Fernandes who's knackered. Just shocking. The team that ended that pitch was up, and then Malacia got subbed on as well. I'm sorry, Malacia. He's not covering himself in glory for the past month. I think he's been absolutely shambolic off late. I mean, yeah, he's still young, so I'm not going to get onto him too much. But yeah, he's not giving me any confidence when he's on the pitch. If anything, I feel like we're going to concede, and we conceded once or twice. I don't even know, but yeah, we conceded the second goal when he was on the pitch, and it wasn't even his fault, to be fair. But nevertheless, he just doesn't give me any confidence when he's there. But yeah, Ten Hag threw that game away in the second half. I'm sorry, I've got to be critical of the manager and keep the same energy for him when he makes mistakes. For me, he had an absolute howl in the second half. It's hard to be positive because I'm so pissed off with the fact that we bottled a 2-0 lead to Tottenham Hotspur when they were dead and buried. I mean, this is a Tottenham that have just held 5 or 6 or whatever it was against Newcastle, and they were there for the taking. I mean, they were defending so poorly. It wasn't even difficult for us to get in. I mean, Bruno Fernandes missed an absolute sitter after doing the most audacious nutmeg. I don't even know who it was on, Langley or whoever it was on. A beautiful skill to beat the centre back, and then he hits the bar. I'm sorry, that would have killed the game on 3-1, and that would have been game, set, match, and it cost us. As simple as that. You know, these are the details that you need to look at. And of course, football is fine margins, and I'm not going to blame Bruno Fernandes for the capitulation because it wasn't because of him. But he has to take that chance. I'm sorry. That's what makes you a good team. He hasn't scored in 10 games now. He has been playing really well. I thought he had a good game as well, to be fair. So I'm not going to be overly critical of him. But it's frustrating, man. I expect him to score that. But Bruno aside, overall performance second half, absolutely shambolic. Yes, first half, so much positives to take away from it. But it's so bittersweet. I can't really sit here and be fake and pretend to be XYZ happy because I am or whatever. Because I'm really not. I'm actually really pissed off with the fact that we bottled that. There was just no need for that second half. The way we set up, as I've already alluded to, was absolutely ridiculous. There was no need for us to do that. Just continue to play. And what pissed me off the most, when it went 2-2, what happened? Yeah, granted, it looked like they could have won it and they could have potentially went and won 3-2. But what happened? We started playing football again. We started controlling the game. Yeah, granted, they allowed us to. But a second, why? Why do we need to concede a goal? Even when it went 2-1, there was a 5-minute burst of energy where the Bruno chance happened. Why are we allowing them to score, then reacting? What the hell is that mentality? It's absolute loser mentality. That does not win you games in the Premier League. Like I said, go for the kill. Complacent, and it's just not. Oh god, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not the first time as well. We've done it so many times this season. Completely bottled the second half, or basically bottled one of the halves. We don't play good for 90 minutes. We play at best 45 minutes, good football, and that needs to change next season. It's not good enough. I'm actually fed up. I'm fed up of this nonsense. Every single other week, we've got this same bullshit inconsistency. Can't you play good for 90 minutes for more than one game a week? I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Not good enough. Watch Liverpool absolutely slap Spurs. They're going to hit them for 5. I guarantee they're going to hit them for 5 because that Spurs defense is shambolic. They've got Ryan Mason in there, by the way, who doesn't know what he's doing. I've probably got more coaching experience than the guy. What are we doing here? Honestly, again, it's not the end of the world. Yes, we can still beat Villa. We'll still be fine. We'll still get top 4, whatever, yada, 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 whatever it may be. But it's not even the point. It's just the fact that the weak mentality is seeping through once a game. A collective shit show from the players. I mean, David De Gea in the second half didn't really cover himself in much glory. I mean, his passing in the first half was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. But second half, just going long at every opportunity. I mean, just completely no composure whatsoever from him. But just overall performance from the boys, just not good enough. But yeah, let's quickly rattle off some of your comments. Obviously, do slap a like when you watch this on repeat. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Shout out to Matthew that always showing love. Neymar Jr. to Man United. I'm not really sure about that one. We'll have to address that in the show. Big up everyone in the chat and in the show. Thank you. As per usual, Matthew, thank you for coming through. But yeah, I just want to do a quick reaction on this. I am actually heading to Manchester because I got work over the weekend, but I just had to get off my chest, man. Honestly, quick positives. Jadon Sancho gets a goal. Unfortunate not to get a second. It did actually get cleared off the line. Granted, it was a bit of a deflection. But overall, good performance from him. I mean, like I said, I don't have a clue why he got substituted out. It is what it is. He got swapped off at 60 minutes for no reason whatsoever. Eriksen, I thought he had a great game. First half, completely controlled and dictated that game. To be fair, all the players in the first half were good. I mean, I can't really criticize the first half performance. They were all strong sevens. Of course, the second half, as I've already alluded to, absolute bottle jobs. Credit to Tottenham, credit to Harry Kane, showed why Man United should sign him. Completely took that grade from the scruff of the neck, got him both assists. Yeah, the first one was a bit fortunate, but the second one, take nothing away from the guy's quality. He puts it on absolute play for Heung-min Son. Great run from him, good finish from him as well. Bent his run perfectly, but that's their bread and butter. They've done that so many times, and they know exactly, well, Son knows exactly where to be to receive the ball from Kane. And that comes down to playing with each other for such a long period, but just overall, Tottenham Hotspur, fair play to them. You know, they were dead and buried and came back from the dead. You got to respect that. Yeah, granted, we allowed them to do so, but nevertheless, given the situation they're currently in, that was a big, big point for them, and it gives them a lot to take away moving forward. From a United perspective, extremely frustrating. Got to win on Sunday, had to win on Sunday anyways, but does put a bit more pressure on that. The fact that we're 2-0 up and bottle it for the second time this season, obviously we've done it again, third time actually, done it against Sevilla, and we did it against someone else there in the season as well. Can't remember who it was against. I feel like it was Fulham. It might have been Leeds. I don't remember. I think we were 2-0 down against Leeds, actually. There was someone else that we bottled a 2-0 lead to early in the season. And, of course, we did it against Sevilla, as we know. And now this is the third time. So, like I said, doing our best impression of Arsenal. We've done this several times also. But Arsenal side, we are fortunate that we are quite far ahead of the other teams that are chasing top four as well. So it may not really come back to bite us on the arse as much as I initially felt. Having looked at the table, if we do win against Villa, it's still 9 points clear of the other teams below us, with I believe 6 games to go. So with 6 games to go, realistically, the other teams would have to win all of their games to overtake us, and we would have to lose 3 out of 6, which we're capable of, don't get me wrong, but I would expect us to at least get ourselves over the line, just about, which isn't really great. We don't want to finish the season on a lull. Of course, we've got the FA Cup final as well to look forward to, but the way we're playing at the moment, you may as well kiss that goodbye as it stands. I mean, a lot can change from now until that day, but it's not looking good, and Man City are flying, and that could be the treble. So a lot to play for. Positives, Garnacho has signed a 5-year contract, which is obviously a great bit of news for Manchester United. Hopefully we can get him back into starting lineup, and if not on the bench, because we're going to need him, because we need every bit of help we can get in the back end of this season. Quite clearly, we're lacking goals, and another player that's capable of scoring and finding the net. By all means, happy to have him back in the squad. Yeah, so positives there. Garnacho signed a new contract. Happy for him. Hopefully he can keep his head down and just focus on the club, because he has got a very high ceiling, and hopefully we can nurture him properly. See, he's got a new set of teeth as well, so that's obviously a positive for him. I don't know why I mentioned that, but it's what it is. But look, regarding Manchester United, positives. Sancho, great goal. Rashford scores, bit of a drought. He's kind of overcome that. Took his goal brilliantly, by the way. Bruno had a great game, apart from the miss. Yeah, we go again. Aston Villa got to win. I believe there's a protest on the weekend. Sadly, I can't make it because I've got some stuff for family. But hopefully, great protest and 3 points for Manchester United. That's all we can expect from the boys on Sunday. I don't think I will be covering the game. Like I said, I am away. So I'm just going to do a quick preview for that. Of course, Watkins would be the biggest threat. I mean, Villa have been absolutely flying. They're in contenders for Europa League, if not Champions League, potentially still. So they've got a lot to play for. It's going to be an extremely difficult game. I'm expecting it to be open game of football, similar to the Spurs game, really. pretty much a carbon copy, really. The only difference being is hopefully we actually take our chances and bury the team. We need to get the third goal. I mean, granted, 2-0 up, we should really see that out against a very poor Tottenham team. His in-game management needs to improve. This isn't the first time that Ten Hag has thrown away with the substitutions. On the flip side, there's been many occasions that he's won his games with substitutions. So hopefully, that is more of the case on Sunday rather than the flip side. Sometimes he's just making subs for the sake of it. Like I said, hoping Garnacho is back in the squad so it can at least bring him on instead of Weghorst, who offers absolutely no quality. He's just a man down, basically. I don't know why he got on the pitch over Palestri. He could have just put Palestri on the right wing and kept Bruno in 10. That would have made way more sense. Palestri offers a lot of quality going the other way and also does provide energy as well. I just don't get it. This Weghorst obsession is going to get us killed. I'm sorry, I don't understand why he's doing it. But yeah, regarding the Villa game, for me, I'm not confident because I think they're flying. They're definitely going to score goals, but I'm going to hopefully say 2-1 Man United win. I mean, I don't really care at this point now. We're at the back end of the season. Just get the 3 points. We can go again next season in terms of the football that I want to see played week in, week out. There's a lot that we need to improve, and there's definitely signings that need to be made. The mentality is extremely weak with a lot of these players, and like I said, they crumble time and time again. I suppose the positive being we are at home, so I expect us to get the win. So yeah, 2-1 Manchester United. That is my reaction to our defeat, our draw to Tottenham Hotspur, and obviously my quick preview for the Man United Aston Villa game. I believe it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be end-to-end basketball style football. There's not going to be much control of the game. Ollie Watkins is going to cause us problems throughout the entirety of the game. We've already seen Villa terrorize us under Emery this season. It was actually the new manager Bounce at that point, but they completely outplayed us, outworked us, and outfought us. That is something that we need to rectify. In particular, the energy. We need to maintain that for larger periods. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing. I don't know if the players aren't capable of doing it for a larger period, but that's not an excuse for us to drop off in the manner in which we did. If we drop off like that against Aston Villa, we will get punished once again. And for me, I won't be surprised if this game ends 3-2, to be honest, or 2-2, or some high-scoring game. You know, both teams are fairly decent going forward. They look devastating on the break. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to stick to my 2-1 prediction for Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts for the Aston Villa Manchester United. It's been your boy Osman. Make sure you do slap a like on the video. Like I said, we got 16 on the last video, so hopefully we can at least get to 16, if not more. Make sure you subscribe for more content. We'll be back next week, probably Monday, reacting to whatever happens against Aston Villa. It's been your boy Osman. Make sure you follow me on my social